All right. Welcome, everybody. I want to welcome our audiences in real quick. I welcome our Spotify audience, Pandora audience, YouTube audience, iHeartRadio, and new to us, and this has been a really big thing for us. We're really excited about it. Amazon Music. So I'll tell you at the end of the show how to tune into Amazon Music and pick us out, put us on your favorites on there. And also over at Comic Crusaders, check us out there. And our friends over at NSC Live TV and at NSC Roadshow. So what we're going to do is I'm going to save again the previews for after the show because, like I said, I don't want you to have the movie effect where you're sitting here for like 10 or 15 minutes and we're going through previews and you just want us to get to the show. So we'll save that for the end after the interview. And I want to talk about real quick that our guest tonight will be Mr. Travis Webb, and we're going to talk about Starlite. So that's a book that is still in launch week. So you can get in on all the good goodies of launch week and see how that's going. That book is almost funded during launch week, which is cool because it's got a lot of time left, but that doesn't mean that we don't still need you. So like, share, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, get the word out there, spread the love. You're going to want to check this book out. This book also has a variant cover. And if you remember from a couple shows ago, Mr. Ron Randall, he's got a cover on here that we'll talk about during the episode. And we're going to give a quick video shout out for that cover. And here's a little teaser for it right now. Show me your power. So that's just one of the covers you can get. I know that's the cover I'm going to get. So just to let you know, that's one of the things that's out there. And we are going to get down to business here in just 1 second. Let me go ahead and pull up a couple things and we will get this party started. So we are there. And one thing I want to show you real quick before I bring Brandon and my co-host and our guest in is I went ahead and wore a throwback shirt for games because we have just now started at Ink Marketing to get into doing games. We've been approached by a video game company overseas to look at their stuff. We're doing some RPG games that are doing really well. We'll talk about in the previews. We're doing some tabletop games. So we're doing comics and we're doing comics plus games. There's a new tie-in right there. So I just want to throw that out there. That's what the shirt's all about. So let me bring in my partner in crime. Hello, sir.
Hi, Kevin.
What's going on, man?
I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
You got that whole kind of nice comfy chair thing going on.
I know. I figure it's Friday. If there's any place you're going to be, you might as well be in a lazy boy, right?
Yeah, like I told you last show, that's the best comic reading I get. I'll throw in a comic, because mine's it's leather. It's like a baseball glove. I just sit back in it, start flipping through a book and nod off. And have some really cool comic dreams.
You have like a special lever to like get you out of it and stuff.
Pretty much. It's kind of got the ejector lever on the side that you have to kind of throw yourself out. So yeah. I need that because I'll just be pride in there.
Who made that video that little preview clip that you showed?
That would be our we have a new company that we put together called Fallout Studio. They did
all right. Yes. Good to know. Everybody hearing, we got a new studio. It's good to know. I leave for a week and we haven't. No, I'm sure.
We leave for a week. We have a whole new business plan out there.
What is happening? Oh yeah.
No, it's been something that's been in the making, as you know, for a while. Yeah. And Brand's just kind of having some fun with me there. But it's something that we've been wanting to do. We've been asked to do.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's a team of us that get together and put these together, and we do a variety
of these artists, just like the artists that we talk to. It's the whole collab of everything.
It's something to set in all the videos you see. You'll be a lot of them in the previews. There's only one of them we didn't do, but I'll point that one out. But the rest of them we did. And,
I'm going to clearly point it out.
The one that was done that's not us. It's really good. I was like, man. So I asked him about it when he did it.
Oh yeah, this guy didn't do it.
No. We didn't do this and put this. The one that we didn't do is really good, and that was for Justin Gray for Spicy Pulp. He already had.
Oh yeah, dude, he's legit. Justin,
jack of all trades.
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, we don't even need to touch it. It's good like it is.
Oh yeah, he's got some peeps for sure.
So yeah, that book just broke 20 grand. So
he's got
his next stretch goal is 22. And we should have that cleared out by the
weekend.
He's
on number
6.
9, 6. Okay.
We just did Spicy Pulp 6. Blew out records for him in 5. Did 6.
Got to keep going. Got to keep going with the story.
he's got it going on, man. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the preview, some of the other stuff we got going on. But without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour. Well, hello, sir.
Hey, everybody.
How is the other side of the mountains, I should say? Because see, I'm on one side of the mountains in Washington, and Travis is right over the mountains on the other. So
oddly, it looks like Eastern Washington out there right now. It's just nice and sunny and clear skies, which is really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be pouring down rain.
Do I live where I live? Oh yeah.
Yakima.
Well, he's on the rainy side, guys. So he's in like the 800 inches a year side of the mountain. I'm on like the 8 inches a year side of the mountain. So yeah, that's how that works out.
Yeah, it's been a dry year though, so it's weird. Technically, I live in a rainforest. So
that's right. You're kind of a little bit south of Seattle.
Yeah. So it's extremely strange for us not to just be drowning and flooding right now. We're not.
Yeah.
No rain.
See, I need to go check out that area. I've heard how beautiful it is right there, and one of the guys I work with explained to me that area, and I was like, I got to get over there. I got to slip over there before the pass is not passable, so to speak.
Snoqualmie is almost always passable though. So
okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Half the fun of living in Washington is pronouncing the names of the freeways or cities that you could possibly be going to or through. It keeps it quite fun.
Well,
There's so many of them. I love it. Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Wenatchee's a good one.
See, we've always said this, Kevin, that there's education involved with this show.
We always weave in education, science, weather.
So Travis, thank you.
Health.
Thank you for teaching us about all the Native American cultures there.
Yeah,
I like it. I appreciate that.
I had fun coming up here pronouncing stuff because I drug my wife through all that stuff when I brought her to Louisiana to meet my dad and my sons right before we got married. And I was like, hey, pronounce that. It's a Chaffalaya. She's like, there's no way that says that. I mean,
of anybody to be pronouncing things as people from Louisiana?
It's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Oh, I love it. Dude, you just popped 4,000 on your goal.
Did it?
That's
awesome. He was only like $30 away. So ta-da.
Yes, sorry, I thought I'd throw that out there early.
No,
so
good thing to note, man. Good thing to note.
Boom! Great job.
Okay, well that's it, guys, for the show, and appreciate you having me on, Travis.
It's funny. I'm really hoping this issue 2 and 3 didn't beat issue 1. Issue 1 broke 10,000.
Yeah,
and I have just not been able to come back on level since. So this time we're going all out.
We're going all out, man. Again. We're going all out. We're you're at 4 and we're just still in the first week. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's got a lot of steam to
it. It's fantastic.
Well, let's walk through a couple things. Tell us a little bit about just kind of the general story. Tell our listeners about kind of how, I love the whole thing about, the spiders and the whole thing. I mean, Brandon, you want to go ahead and pull up you want to go ahead and throw the screen over?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
He's gonna throw up the Kickstarter and we'll just kind of walk through it together.
Put the Kickstarter up together. So.
Awesome. Yeah. You want me to give a quick
while he's doing that, just kind of a quick little, pitch on what the general story is about.
Sure.
So, when we were kids, some of us read kid comic books about being superheroes that are kids. I don't know if you guys remember that. Or how many times have you seen a sidekick that's a kid? Or, somebody else that's a kid that has superpowers, Well, the thing is what happens when they grow up, right? Like, what happens when they hit their teenage years? Because most comics address the, coming of age to become a superhero. What if you became a superhero? What if you were already a superhero? When you came of age, they were like, nah, you got to go back to being normal and go back to high school.
Yeah. Forget all the fun you've been having. Just,
Yeah, see, that was actually one of the premises that I liked about it, to be honest, when I was first seeing everything, was that you said that they're kids and they're superheroes. They're already superheroes. So I like that general approach.
So if the thing we wanted to address was what happens when you don't get to live the destiny everyone thought you were going to have?
Right.
I mean, how many of us were kids and we went to high school and everyone in high school had a future? I don't know if you guys remember that, or junior high. One kid was going to be a karate champion. Another kid was a great guitarist, obviously going to be in a huge band. You know, the local kid band that's in your school, they were going to be famous. They're going to have a record deal. They're
astronauts and
yeah. And guess what? They're all working at like Walmart now. Right? And they have drug problems or whatever. Not everybody gets to like.
I love that span. That's such a. It's a good.
Right. Not everybody gets to be who they are, and I wanted to question what would happen if everyone thought you were going to be a superhero, and then when the time came, it was like, no.
You're like, I don't want to. I don't want to do it.
Well, it's not that they didn't want to; they just get it taken away from them.
Some by turn of events. And that kind of reminds me of my hometown because there's people that can't seem to escape that tractor beam, and they live there their whole life. They're born there, they live there, they work there, they die there, and that's it. They stay in that small little capacity. While that's loading real quick, I want to go ahead and we'll show everybody the intro video that backs up exactly what Travis just said. So let me go ahead and play real quick the intro video that you'll be able to see when you come onto the Kickstarter.
You remember the Ultra Kids? That high-flying, superpowered jewel of Mighty Boy and the Melter? Remember their kids' superhero adventures?
And you get that production quality.
Thanks.
That's so good.
That is the new studio. That is the Fallout Studio, and we've teamed up. It's Fallout Studio and Vanilla Groove, and all the audio tracks
that's a
are
good
all
band name.
Yeah, isn't it
Vanilla, I like that.
And it's all the music and stuff is all now. You know, the samplings and everything. That's all that stuff that can be used. I mean, we've got tons and tons and tons of hours and hours and hours of stuff, but they're a lot of fun to put together. So it's something that's kind of evolved. Oh my God, we've got a ton of them we've done now. And we're just having fun every time we do one. So go ahead and Travis, kind of walk our listeners through some of the characters and kind of what some of their high points are.
Well, you got the two Ultra Kids who are no longer Ultra Kids; they're just teenagers, which is Chris and Sarah. You can see Chris up there with his dyed blonde hair, and Sarah there with her big giant bun hat. And they're 18 and 16, so he's in his senior year. She's coming in her sophomore, going in her junior year kind of era. And they approach what happens to them in two very different ways. That trauma of having all that taken from them. He's still, like you said earlier, he's still stuck on the idea that he's going to be a superhero again. Chris knows everything it takes to be a hero. Chris knows all the heroes. Chris has actual superheroes that he can text message if he wants to. Because he's also a fanboy, because he used to be like a mini Superman. But that's gone now. Yeah. So he's obsessed with the idea that he's going to get that back. As soon as he gets to college, he's going to prove himself. He's going to find a way to get his powers back, and he's going to become a superhero. He's going to be Mighty Man, instead of Mighty Boy, right?
Yeah, now he's like paying taxes and, trying to get a job and,
Right. Sarah, on the other hand, she was younger, and so she doesn't really have memories from before having superpowers, which is something we have to address. And the other
That's helpful.
Right. But the other thing we did to twist Sarah a little more was Sarah gets to keep her powers under a condition. Okay. So something happened to Sarah where her powers were molded into her and they became part of her rather than being part of a super suit or something like that.
Okay.
But she still doesn't get to be a superhero, but she still has her powers. But she only gets to have her powers when she takes, and this is where everybody gets all freaked out, when she takes ecstasy.
Knew it. No, it makes sense. Yeah.
Because she's
lots of people's superpowers, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's what one of the names is superpower.
Superman. We chose that specifically because her power is about touch.
Yes.
Right? She was the melter. Anything she touches, any part of her body that she wills can melt any form of matter.
Ooh, nice. That's handy.
Yeah, really, is what she does.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing that's invulnerable to her. She can walk through anything by simply absorbing and melting through it.
Mm.
That's a good tie-in. I mean, I know it freaks people out, but it's still a good tie-in.
Oh,
does she leave a hole when she goes through?
Right. Well, here's the thing. Think about that power on a young girl. Think about like if she uses it on a person. as a 7-year-old child or a 6-year-old child.
Mhm.
She could literally melt a person out of existence with her
Exactly.
hands, right? If she's
All
not careful.
right.
And so she grew up with these things. Well, she lost all that power for a moment, but when she started doing ecstasy, her powers came back, but only when she's high.
Only
We
when she's-
chose
okay.
that drug in particular because it correlates with the type of trauma she's going through.
Absolutely.
Right? Because her
Absolutely.
power touch, ecstasy gives you a heightened sense of feeling and physical feeling, a vibe, if you will. It
Mhm.
also removes all your inhibitions, you know. So we chose that drug because now when she takes it, suddenly her powers come back because she's able to touch things and feel things again.
Which is, you know, to the listeners out there and the diehard comic book fans that have been in this, you know, in the Silver and Bronze Ages, you know, the introduction and interweaving of drugs in the comic books is not something that hasn't been, you know,
No,
messed
pretty
around with before, because
Yeah.
you know, Iron Man is you know, they have the classic cover where he's an alcoholic and he's staring in the mirror, right? And then there's, of course, you know, Stan Lee did somewhere, of course, you know, he got the label pulled off from the approval because he did stuff about heroin, and you know, so there's been a correlation before. So, you know, I don't want people to think that, you know, this is something that's not been accepted before, I guess.
Oh yeah, it makes total sense too. It's a great correlation. So who is number 3? Who's this guy?
So Roger is a reporter who had been a real network reporter, right? He'd been a war correspondent, respectable, you know, and his career just took a downward spiral after the world calmed down. You know, there wasn't a war for him to be a war correspondent. He got a little bit too obsessed with superheroes. So when superheroes weren't as popular because there wasn't as much crime, he kind of fell off the thing, and now he's running a YouTube channel.
Oh,
right?
Snap. Okay.
Where he goes and he tries to investigate superheroes that aren't around anymore. He goes and tries to figure out where they are now and hunt down their real identity to see where they're at.
Interesting. I
And
like
he
that.
was actually working on the case of the missing Ultra Kids. When he found them, at the same time, a whole bunch of stuff goes crazy, which is they're kidnapped by transdimensional spider wizards.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah. You know.
Well, hello, Trish.
Hello.
Transdimensional spider. I love it. I mean,
that's a cool line, man.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much better you can get. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a transdimensional spider wizard coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like wow.
Yeah, there's a whole thing with them, man. They're specifically kidnapping those two for a reason. And I don't want to give it out because that's kind of the story, right?
I was gonna say, don't give it too much away.
You got to go to the Kickstarter, guys, and get it if you want to hear the rest. That's just how it is. I'm sorry.
But I will say, Roger is another way of addressing that same trauma. He is somebody who had power, but we looked at it from the age and takes it a different way as well.
Yeah.
Which is he gets cynical about the whole thing. Yeah. So you have Chris, who is
wants
obsessed
to
with getting it back. Sarah, who just wants to let go and forget it and have her life just exist, right? Yeah. Roger's just like, I don't want to deal with it. You know, like everything's stupid. The whole world's dumb. Superpowers are dumb.
Now, is he investigating for someone, or is it more of just his own content that he's creating for YouTube?
It's his own content he's creating for YouTube because he thinks he's found his niche. I don't know if you know a lot of old dudes who used to have something that they were really good at, and they're like always looking to get back into things.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of, you know, there's a couple of us like that. Yeah.
I wondered his backstory for sure.
So who's got the fire truck? Is it Seattle
I do.
Utah?
All right. Gosh.
Yeah. See, Utah's like burning down. I'm sorry, guys. It's been burning for like off and on.
I'm just glad we've said it almost every show, and it sucks for the last 6 weeks, but thank you for all the firefighters out there taking. It is not fun at all. We appreciate it. So yes, we're gone now.
Oh yeah, you guys had a giant fire around.
Oh god,
the
yeah.
lake.
Yeah, it was insane.
They're smoking us out, man. Utah is smoking us out here in Washington. But again, like
I wish it was the opposite. You know, if Washington was burning coming down, it'd be way better for everybody down there. Yeah,
this is just payback. You know, we do appreciate all the firefighters. I mean, there's a lot going on in California.
There's so much going on. So yeah,
California,
thank you so much.
Oregon, Canada. I mean, it's coming. It's just.
Yeah.
I heard this, and I don't know. This quick little offset, real quick. Travis, you may have heard pro or not. I heard somewhere from work that the reason Washington is having some fires as well, and Oregon, in Utah is because they stopped the burn lines. Like they didn't let them do burn lines last year. So in other words, when something hits, there's nothing to stop it. It just keeps on going. So I don't know if anybody.
Well, I can personally validate because I was dirt biking a couple weeks ago up in the mountains up here, and I would see mounds of trees that were ready for the burn line. None of them were, burnt yet. So, I mean, we wish them the best. It's hard work. It's not fun. And Mother Nature always wins, unfortunately. Mother Nature always wins. So, sorry.
I haven't read that yet, but I do know that, like, in Washington, most of our burn points are semi-permanent.
Right.
So, because we have them because we're used to it. We are forced to catch on fire all the time. Kind of.
Oh, yeah. This is just like last year.
The only places that don't have burn lines are like the Olympic doesn't technically have burn lines because it gets so much rain it should never catch on fire.
Right.
And it caught on fire last year. But
theoretically.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard that. I did hear the conspiracy that it's because we've been not cutting down the undergrowth, but like we've never cut down the undergrowth ever in our history of a state, and it's not a normal thing. And
undergrowth would be too new.
Said, well, Sweden cuts their undergrowth, and Sweden was like, no, we don't. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Sweden's like, we don't know what you're talking about. Don't bring us into your fire issues.
There's a place we like to hang out in Tennessee, and a couple of years ago when we were up there, the fire came in, and one of the guys I was talking to over there had seconds notice because the fire like leaped over the top, and he was getting text messages trying to wake him up, and it's like around midnight, and he woke up like, who keeps calling my phone and text messaged me? And he read it, and they're like, get out now. And when he opened his door, the fire's coming over where he's at, and it torched just a ton in Tennessee a couple years ago. So anyway, not too much of it. I mean,
we wish him the best. Thank you so much, you guys.
It's
everybody. Yeah,
I was here when we moved here about this time last year. It was I kind of talked about Brandon this the other day. We had ash in the air here. I mean, the scale was off the chart. It was like 500 or 600 in a 500.
No one
scale.
should be breathing this.
Yeah, don't go outside. And there's literally ash, like Mount St. Helens, that like popped off again or something. And there's literally ash settling on our car. I've got film of it, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we never had that. I grew up here my whole life. I'm actually from Eastern Washington, so this whole idea of a smoke season that's not normal. Like that's not something we've ever had before. Like these fires are insane. Like I said,
it's not like hurricane season, rain season, smoke season,
Yeah, it's just dry. It's really dry. We're not getting as much rain. The Mount Rainier looks crazy to me. You grew up your whole life. I've never seen that much gray on it before, ever.
Wow. Yeah, I saw it for the first time about 6 months ago, and driving, slipped over in Oregon and drove that path down, and it was beautiful. So
yeah, it's usually covered in snow. There used to be ice caves that had been there for thousands of years, and they melted. So,
oh God, yeah, wow.
Still on my bucket list of things to climb. I've climbed a lot of things, but Rainier's up there, so it's a bucket list. It's a good one for sure. So, who is our friend here with the antennas and
the spiders back there?
No, this
no, that's a spider.
Oh yeah, I see him on the right. Yeah.
Who are we working with here?
Yeah, so that's I think that one's Urs. You can tell by their different antennas and head dress.
Of course. Everybody knows that.
Fire cats. They literally are mercenaries that work for the highest bidder.
Okay.
And so they work for these transdimensional spider wizards. They're actually the ones that do the kidnapping and stuff. Kind of explained in the story later, which is basically the transdimensional spider wizards don't like working with lesser species in the universe, right? So they don't like making contact. So they work.
They're like, you go and talk to those humans.
I've worked with a couple people like that. Yeah.
I get there. Great. Oh, that's great.
It's just they're so, the way it's put is some of their stuff, they're so advanced, right?
Yeah.
That when they make contact with lesser races in the universe, those races now have their eyes open to how powerful things can be.
So they don't want to reveal themselves,
because then they
gotcha.
accidentally.
Then they're like, "Damn it, we just gave them all this cool info that they're going to use." Crap.
Just their existence
Gotcha.
is too much knowledge for
just your existence makes us feel awesomer. Yeah, and that is a word because there is no word police.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So one of the things that really stuck out to me as I was looking at all of the art was the styling. Right now, to me, there's like a flatness, right? You're kind of an old school throwback style to it. So I was just curious, kind of, because we've talked about this with all of the other artists that we worked with, is when you make a book, right, you write it, but then you have to be able to tell someone that can draw kind of what is in your mind and stuff. So tell for our listening audience and, people watching kind of the, how you work with the artist, because it's amazing. This is fantastic.
And kind of walk them through the team too.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's surprisingly good heavy hitters. So the art is Brett Widelli. And so for your audience, who that is if you ever seen the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, Blockbuster, which was Miramax, I think, in Disney, that's based on one of Brett's books.
It was one of the scarier movies I've seen because it's going to come to pass. So
yeah, we're all going to have robot bodies and just hang out. But,
why not?
Yeah. He also worked on things like 28 Days Later.
He's got a pretty good resume, huh? Yeah.
Right. So people will often say, well, there's a real kind of film feel to the art. That's because he draws for film.
Gotcha.
Like storybooks. Yeah. Okay. Storyboards. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So, he's got a definite, everything he does because he's trying to make it feel like it's a cinema experience.
Because it is. Yeah.
We actually met because I was working in Hollywood back then on another project that didn't come to fruition, and we were tied together on that project, and we ended up becoming best friends for years.
Cool.
Traveling and doing projects together. So his art, specifically in this comic, is a little bit different. If you look at his older work, you'll notice a lot of rusts and browns and dripping and stuff to his art style. You don't see that here. You see these bright colors.
A little bit more high octane for sure.
There's no drippings. And that's because when we came to do this comic, I said, Brett, if we're going to do this comic that's going to be like ravers and like transdimensional spider wizards and space pirate cats, I'm like, I really want you to reevaluate.
Yeah.
I want you to
absolutely. You would have to reevaluate. 100%.
We had another creator the other day that I was talking with, and we were showing some different things, and we had shown him the video that Fallout put together for the Kickstarter, and he just loved the color palette of your book. So
it's fantastic.
It definitely stands out. It is.
No, that was the first thing I was like, damn, dude, we're going hypercolor. This is awesome.
Well, he tried a new technique. He had a new approach to doing color that he did specifically for this book, and it's been great for him. Because I don't know if this is mentioned very often, but he's now the colors for The Beauty for Image. He's the colors for some other major title. The reason Ron Randall has a variant cover with this is Ron wanted Brett to color for him and made an offer to do a cover for us. He had an idea. Ron loves the comic, and so he had an idea, and he wanted Brett to color.
There you go.
So Brett's colors on Ron's
speaking of variant covers, there you go. Yeah.
Brett's coloring is so sick.
I really would like to get him on the show, Kevin, because there is a styling to what he's doing that is ultra unique from what I've seen in a while. It
definitely stands out. Like the scenes, that's just some of the scenes that were picked for the video, like the explosion and just the colors that come out, and that whole panel is just spectacular. Yeah,
the next trick is to write for Brett. So
I've never heard that before, actually.
Right.
So elaborate.
So I've been working in comic books off and on for about 10 years, but mostly as a consultant. Because I wrote a comic book that was completely useless 10 years ago that we're not going to mention.
If you say it fast, it doesn't count, right?
Yeah. But I always end up meeting comic book people, writers and stuff, who are coming up when I was at cons, and I'd be working on a film or have my agency do something out on a favor or a manager, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm really trying to get my book off the ground. Can you look at my script?" And look, man, as a writer, the most important thing for you to learn is how a book works, right? How to write a comic book script and to understand that you don't communicate to the audience, you communicate to your artists.
You definitely do.
Brandon,
can you back up a little bit? Can you back up to
I've never, and we've interviewed,
There
I
you
don't know
go.
how many
Perfect.
shows we're on now, but that's the first time that I've ever heard a creator ever say that.
Well,
So
this is actually,
and I'm not saying that in a bad, I like that approach because ultimately they are bringing it to fruition.
Right. They communicate to the audience.
Right. My words are only so much.
They funny you should mention that because this is actually the 25th episode, so it is actually a milestone episode for us. So yeah, Travis, and the first episode that we've had Amazon Music on as listening. So that's a dual kind of thing for us. It was a really cool thing to
500-pound gorilla.
Man, it's getting there. It's getting there. And we got talked into the show, man. Our arm got twisted, and we did it. So
we'll do it, I guess.
So here we are, 25. They say if you can make it past 10, you might have a future. So we'll see where we're at. But but here on the screen is Mr. Ron Randall, and like you said, he was on the show.
Super cool cat, really cool
very
guy.
Much. He is actually, for those of you who didn't hear the last show, and I'll make this quick. He is one of the reasons I got into this business, because as a young 10-year-old boy, I picked up a comic in the hospital gift shop when my dad was in surgery. My mom brought me to the gift shop while I was there. And at 10 years old, I read for the first time and looked at the art of Ron Randall as I read Barren Earth, which was in the back of Warlord 77, which I have sitting to the left of me right now. So big history with Ron. And like I said, it was a lot of fun to get a chance to talk with him. Great guy.
He can hang, man. He's legit.
And if you guys out there, trucker fans, there's your man right there.
Yep.
So he's like Travis said, he's got some heavy hitters on his side.
I actually was curious on the pronunciation of this particular artist. How do you say it? All right.
They are amazing. They're a raver, not a comic book person, and their art is just big in the rave community and furry community, and so a lot of ravers are really unique nerds in their own right.
Absolutely.
So it's important to me to be true to the culture as a person who came from that culture. Making sure that artists like Piki Piki Kuma got a chance to work on this and bring their own style and taste to that really meant a lot to me. The flyer was done from Marvel Productions himself. He did the flyer that we're doing with it as an offering. So it's a legitimate rave flyer that we're having built.
Go ahead and scroll up. That's the drive-in, excuse me. One. Yeah. That's that right there. Which is, a purple octopus, which is, a kind of tan, a little bit inked like, so I was really cool to see.
We appreciate the throw. I can't say it's fantastic. I mean, it is so well done.
Well, the back of it's not done yet, but the back will have actual real DJs with links.
And they're going to get that with when they back. And they're going to get that when they back it.
Yep. They'll get a rave flyer with a whole list of DJs on the back of cool music to listen to.
That's nice.
Hell
cool.
Yeah. Great idea. Great idea.
One thing to throw out there, and when you're thinking about the back, and this is just from the hip real quick, the codes now, the RF codes and the Q codes, and
QR codes,
those QR codes, we create those now, and we created those for a book. He's doing an ashcan version. We created a QR code for him. And that
ashcan version, I like that.
And it's the smaller versions, right? So his ashcan version with the QR code jumps to his Kickstarter. So you could actually do a QR code for the back of this if you want to, and actually jump to some of these rave DJ sites. So just throwing it out there, it's possible. We have the technology, so
we can build them.
We can
do it.
And the thing that I really liked, and I just, for our listening audience, exactly what you had said is, you want to make sure you incorporate them. He likes lions and tigers and especially bears. Oh my, well done. So great job on that one. So tell us a little bit about Mary.
I mean, can you be like, this is hilarious.
Wow.
Oh, there's a story here. I smell it.
My Little Pony. My Little Pony.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's got a
NBD. No big deal. Oh wait. Yeah. Oh, wow.
She's actually the second artist. The issue before this, I think, or before that, we had Jenna Ayub, who does Steven Universe and Adventure
Okay.
Time. So we've had an Adventure Time artist, My Little Pony artist, Lee Moyer, who used to be Dungeons and Dragons, did a cover for us in the last issue. So yeah, we've been all over the spectrum.
So
You're just
what's
walking
it
through
like?
everybody's childhood, man.
Yeah. So like, what is it like when you approach her? Meaning, hey, Mary, you have this long list of everything. You're amazing. Like, how does that work when you just say, hey, I want you to draw something of what I think a cool cover would be? Tell our listening audience a little bit about that.
So there's a couple different ways it's happened. That's the thing, right?
Okay.
So for instance, Jenna is friends with Greg, the other writer, right?
Okay.
And they're each other's from Con. Jenna and him were at C2E2, and Jenna asked to read the whole series and loved it. So Greg was like, "Do you think she could do a cover?" And I was like, "Yeah." So Jenna came on board because she became a fan, and she actually backs us every campaign. Even I offered to send them to her for free.
Dude,
here's how, for your listening audience out there, and you guys wanting to get into comics, I'm going to give you a quick little couple second how this comic centric thing works. Sometimes
everybody knows everybody.
it does. It's like 6 steps away from Kevin Bacon, right? So it's now 6 steps away from Travis Webb. So
ooh, that's a good Twitter trend right there.
And we pull out, we go on the hunt like all businesses do. We found a guy that liked our stuff and want to do a Kickstarter with us. So here's how this works. He put me in contact with Bart Sears. We ended up doing some stuff for Bart Sears, who's the artist for was the Turok artist and XO and all the Valiant stuff. And he's done just tons of stuff. People know Bart Sears. So that was one connection. And then so that connection led to another connection with an artist and guy that unnamed at this point. And he threw us to somebody else, and that person threw us back into Lucasfilms and Industrial Light and Magic. So like one person 5 steps later, we're back in Industrial Light and Magic,
because everybody's on the same frequency, man. Everybody's crazy. I love the art, how it works. It's so cool.
So yeah, we're now 6 steps away from Travis Webb. So we'll have to. We're walking through all that
degree away from me now because we're talking.
Yeah. There you go.
So she just says, "Okay, Travis, I'm down," and you just let her go freestyle and do whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah, we have a couple things like we asked if they can to put certain things into. There's hidden messages in the covers.
Okay,
just tell you straight up. I just won't tell you what they are. But there's literally hidden messages in every cover.
Like written into the shadows.
No,
you have to use it with a black light, or like what are we doing?
Yeah, see, that's a rave thing. The whole black light
I figured
thing.
That was
If you turn the lights off and turn on your black light, it sends a message.
I'll tell you that all the issue covers are building up to issue 5.
Okay.
And there's 7 issues total in the series, but all the covers are leading up to issue 5.
Right
now. And so they're telling their own story, and all the artists are wearing doing their own little things.
Okay.
To kind of show that happening. I'm sure if everybody starts staring at the covers long enough, they start catching on to something. And they're like, what does that got to do with everything?
Gotcha.
I like that.
Yeah, it's just one of those little side things.
Little clever. It's a clever little move there. So you're telling me that all these artist covers all just work themselves into a potential storyline in the future, huh?
Yep, they're all working to a storyline in issue 5.
You all heard that. Everybody listening, y'all heard that.
It's the first time I've admitted to that too, actually.
You clever little animal, you.
Well done. No, it's great. Well done. Yeah, well done. So we
got some stickers coming up.
Let's tell us. Yeah, these are cute. God, they're super.
And they're adorable. I should have grabbed some and brought them down with me.
They're really adorable. These are just. My hell, they're super cute. Yeah, wow.
Roger has his sticker in his mouth.
I know. He's not even holding it. He's like, nope, I'm running. Hey, you can't run with it in your hand because it goes out. Right.
Nice.
So the Rave Flyer again. I can't. Fantastic.
Yes.
You've got some great artists that
Now, did you just let them kind of run with this flyer, or did you kind of direct this flyer? The reason I asked that, it's very reminiscent of this area. Like, for those of you who have never been to the Washington area,
there is drive-in still.
There's very much time.
Let me see if I can get the whole frame in. Can y'all see the whole frame now?
Some of these places around here are very much stuck in this era. Like there is a shopping center that I go to in the next town that has a sign very much like this.
Yeah, and it has
octopus.
It's called Octopus Garden, bruh.
And they have an atom on top with like a, everybody here is nuclear, right? Because of course the whole nuclear tie-in here. Everybody's atomic something, atomic
everybody
cleaners,
glows. It's weird.
Atomic drive-in,
but we won't put up any more plants. It's weird.
Yeah,
we love it.
But they're so tight. They're in this era. So that's why I asked because I was like, oh, look, that's a place in Washington right there. I could go to that.
All the covers, all the art is leading up to issue 5.
God, well done.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm just not going to let you say any more than that. But your brain doesn't realize it, but it's trying to solve it
Quit
now.
hurting my brain.
I'm already on it. Okay? I'm in overload.
You're gonna make people act off. Yeah, no, this is fantastic. It's a great way to do it. So
the mini prints are pretty cool too.
I love watercolor.
That's his traditional art. That's Brett's normal way of doing art.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Watercolor is very difficult to work with, but you can create some great. God. Now, I was talking to you about this in the green room, and everybody listening, this is the first time I've had 25 episodes with the creators that I have ever seen any of them say, hey, by the way, there is some cost to actually making this for you. So talk about the money pie graph here.
Well, I used to own a nightclub, and I used to throw raves, and one thing I learned in life is you have to pay everybody.
Yeah.
Like you don't have people do stuff for free.
No.
Like you can do stuff for yourself for free.
Sure.
Right? But if there's going to be money coming in, then you need to find a way to make sure everybody gets a cut of that pie.
Yeah. So it's a team effort for sure.
Right. And I believe the idea of doing the pie was actually, here we go, Ron Randall again.
All right, Ron, there's your second show. No.
Ron was like, just do a pie graph right on there. See where the money's going.
God.
And that's important, because it's
it
not
really
going in
is.
my pocket. It's going into making sure, the artists get paid, the printer get paid, the letterer gets paid.
Everybody
these are my friends, but they need to get paid.
Everybody listening should probably start putting this on their Kickstarters, because you might want to know how to allocate the money when it comes in. And I think that everybody backing any of the Kickstarters would appreciate seeing these types of things, to be honest. I really do. So I appreciate you doing it.
A lot of people don't realize in the Kickstarter world that, like you said, there's money going everywhere. It's not like the person who came up with it just pockets everything.
Hey, magically it exists.
Yeah,
no.
There's all kind of, like you said, all these production costs involved with it. And the same thing when we talk about different things with producing these things, there is cost involved. And when you start talking about it, it kind of starts to kind of make sense to people. Kind of,
I really like it. So I really appreciate you putting that on there.
Thanks. We would break down book production more, but that might reveal on accident.
I was going to say we don't want to go in there. It's kind of like nonprofits, right?
Yeah, we don't want to.
97% is that. No.
We don't want to give away how the Fruity Pebbles are made. We just want to say we make Fruity Pebbles.
Exactly. So we talked about Brett. He's amazing. He was just killed. I mean, yeah, his resume is as long as the page.
He was at the con with Ron, right? A couple of weekends ago. Right?
Yeah, we were all three of us are at RCCC, so Royal City.
And that's nice of you to use inmates to write some of the books with you.
Greg's always been in jail. They have that program.
I know. Greg, if you're listening to this in jail or out of jail, we're just...
Hey, we believe in work release. Hey, cheers.
Cheers to work release.
He is such a talented writer, too. And, Greg and I met when I was working on a film. Oh, yeah. Can't talk about that film. But I got introduced to Greg because I was working on a movie that was similar to something Greg was working on. So we kind of started hanging out, him, me, and Mike Tanner and stuff. Okay. And we all ended up becoming really good friends. So Greg was really kind of the, hey, Travis, do your own. Greg and Brett both were, hey, stop being a ghost. Stop doing consulting. Go write your own book. And don't take any more of these gigs. The problem is, right now, when you do ghost work, when you do consulting work, the nice part about it is you get cash up front. There's no risk, right?
You're third party. Yeah, you're third party. I'm just here to hook you up, and then I'm out.
Yeah, I'm just going to come in here and punch up your dialogue and get out. Give me the check for $10,000.
Exactly.
Right? The problem is that can only last so long without an agent and a manager and something for people to reference that's not locked in the NDA.
they love locking that up.
Explain to the listeners real quick what you just said. Punch up dialogue. Explain to them what that kind of is real quick, because some people might not understand what that.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Yeah. Education.
Yeah. People write books, and there's different ways to write books or movies or stories. Dialogue is where people suffer the hardest. People will get up and say, "Oh, I can write really good dialogue, so I'll just write conversations." Conversations, the way you speak, versus conversations the way they have to be written for someone else to read, are two very different skill sets.
Absolutely.
You
can set the scene, but what are the people doing and saying in the scene? Yeah.
Right. And the thing is people don't. You can't write the way people speak, but you can't write the way people write the way people speak.
Well, and the good example of that is the
I don't even want to hear you say that again.
The very horrible radio commercials. Let me give you an example real quick. Hey, Bob, I see your new car. Where'd you get that new car? Well, Bob, I like your new car. Where'd you get it? Well, Steve, I went ahead and went down to John's Auto Mart and got this car. Where is John's Auto Mart, Bob? Those kind of commercials are just like, my God. It's like you said, people don't speak that way, and they don't speak that way in a setting like that. It's just it's not a physical thing.
And the other thing is people don't speak. So the thing I ran into the most, and this includes myself, is that people oftentimes write the same voice for all the characters.
Yep.
I always give the example of Man of Steel, Superman, Man of Steel.
Okay.
I'm not trying to bash him. I think David Goyer or whatever did that. And he's not a bad writer at all. But I think that Zack Snyder might have been who wrote the original draft for that. Because what it ends up being, if you were to close your eyes, you can't recognize who's speaking who. Because they're all speaking from one long monologue.
Gotcha.
Right? So the whole movie is one long monologue questioning, what it is to be Superman in a society where people are not super. So all these characters are basically talking from one set of this essay, right? And then you take that essay, you chop it up, and you assign all these different quotes to different characters, and that's what you get. That's what the dialogue feels like it's coming from.
Gotcha. Right. Versus individualized people having these different. Yeah.
I kind of picture it almost like a monologue 7th grade biology class. It's just the same delivery from the same teacher from the same.
How the hell do you come up with this?
And it doesn't.
Biology, really?
Yeah, no. Man. You guys all remember like 7th grade biology, right? You just were like that. Like Ferris Bueller's, Bueller. You just it's the same tone, man. So I get what you're saying. It's if you close your eyes, you don't know who in the room is talking. It's almost like if text had an emotion, right? It's the same. There's no inflection in the text, right? There's no.
That's why we have emojis. Gosh,
which can often lead to very odd, interesting conversations because I guarantee you,
guys,
there's only so many facial expressions. No.
Everything you're talking about right now actually comes up as a problem in the next issue.
Boom! We did it on purpose.
There we go.
Really, but
I literally had that realization when I was working on this comic. Like if you had a Babelfish translation thing, right? First of all, who's doing the translation? It's not going to be a human. Right?
Not a native, for sure. Yeah.
Most human language is like 70% of the way you speak is actually through your physical emoticons, or emotions.
Your physical presence and your hand gestures.
You were an alien race, and you had to write a translation device that translated English, but you didn't know the rules. You didn't know how things worked, and you had to figure out how to make a verbal representation of the physical part of communicating as a human. What would that sound like?
It would sound like driving through. It would sound like driving through Washington or Louisiana with your GPS on and it trying to pronounce where you're at. That's a kind of what you get with.
Well, imagine that. On top of that, it's also trying to tell you it's pissed off at you.
Yeah, turn around. Was it?
Your tone is terrible.
Not redirect. What is it? Rerouting. Rerouting.
That's a great approach. That there is one tonality and one, monologue, like you said, but Greg switches it up, huh?
Yeah, well, what happened was when I was writing, I realized I was making all the same mistakes I was on everybody else.
Well, I just had that same conversation.
I just called everybody out, but I was doing the same damn thing.
I just had a conversation with an editor here just right before the show, and I was like, it's the forest for the trees for some people. I said, especially for me, I'll use myself as an example. When I write something, I have to send it to somebody else because I'm too close to it. My mind reads over and thinks over what's on the page, not what's written, but what I meant to say.
Right.
And you can't write what you meant. Yeah.
And it's just I've got to. But other people's stuff, they send it to me, and it's like the Matrix, man. Stuff just lifts off the page, and I see.
This and this and that.
But because I didn't write it, you know.
Well, they say editors edit, writers write. And
there you go.
And one of my favorite things that I learned back when I was working in Hollywood was look at Stephen King. I use as an example, and it may not be true, but this is an example I'm going to use. Like he might hear this someday and be like, Travis is an idiot. But when you were successful, sometimes they take the reins off you, and that stuff gets exposed. But a really great writer or a really good writer is made great by a really good editor.
Exactly.
Right? The editor can see where to cut things back. The editor sees where you're repeating things and not, keeping the budget of the narrative nice and crisp.
What did you mean here? And are you sure about this? And absolutely.
I sent some work off recently. Well, actually, I didn't send it off. The guy actually approached me and took some work and kind of massaged it and was talking about, like you said, places to be more concise, and I'm versed in technical writing and how to say stuff, take the 20 words that were said and break them down to like 10 and say the same thing, those kind of tricks. But he was on point with being able to take the different things I had put in there and change that and make them more concise and to the point. So I'm with you. It's there's an art to it. There's definitely an art to it.
No, Greg,
it's an unspoken.
Okay.
It's kind of like I always kind of picture the creative team of a comic like a band, right? Like the creator is basically the drummer. He's the pulse of everything is going on.
Keep the beat. Keep the beat.
The lead artist, the cover artist, is the lead singer, right? Mm-hmm. The poor guy doing the lettering is like the bass guitarist. He's just in the background. Nobody remembers his name. He's got to bring the beer to every gig. But I mean, he's that guy. The letterer is that guy.
Bass guitarist. Gosh.
Yeah, you need the bass guitarist. And then of course you got the lead guitarist is like the colorist. I mean, he's there, he's important, but he's not the guy with the mic. So I mean, I always kind of picture that's our race team. I either picture a race team or a band when I think about comic book teams.
No, it takes a lot of people. I know at the last con, I spent a good couple hours with Jeremy Clark, the inker, and my girlfriend, with me and Jeremy trying to explain to my girlfriend what an inker actually does. How was that, Rick?
How'd that go?
Was that close? Was that close?
We tried.
Now we can like not let her see this part, but we can. Is it kind of like having to explain? I saw a girl one time. The guy had to explain to her, poor thing, the difference between cutting a pizza in 8 slices versus like 12. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, you get more when you cut it in 12. I mean, it was like it's a great thing. It floats around Facebook jokes every now and then. So it was kind of like that.
More one of those like you really are trying not to say he's a tracer.
Yeah. He traces things and makes them look. He pops it out of the page. Yeah.
What I always got in marketing was, well, you're the guy that makes pretty pictures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all there is to it.
He's the finisher. You know what I'm saying? He's the one putting the polish on the lines.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He's better at making those lines look polished.
Yeah, he's the guy putting the spackle after the guy puts up the drywall. He's the one,
Right. He's gonna smooth that look good. Yep. Here's Tom Orzechowski, by the way.
I actually, real quick, before we go on to Tom, I wanted just to have you explain real quick and to the listening audience why the name Starlite.
Can't. Part of the story. It's all leading issue.
Damn it!
Oh.
Damn it! I tried, everybody.
See,
all right.
I'm gonna say this because this
you owe me $20 now.
I tried.
Issue one. This came up a lot. No, there is no character named Starlight in Starlight.
It's just the name of the story. Everybody, deal with it.
Just clear. And just because the voice of the show dropped around the same time,
if I,
we were like, no, completely unrelated. Different
Nope.
spelling, not
It's
a
just the
character.
name of the series, just like X-Men. We don't call it Wolverine X-Men or it's just that. Gotcha. All right. So Tom, I don't even want to try and pronounce his last name.
Orzechowski.
There you go. Break it down. Who is this homeboy? I'm seeing some pretty good stuff on
He's
his
got some
resume
heavy
here.
stuff hitters behind him. Yeah, he's
He
out
is
there.
the letterer for Marvel, pretty much. He is the. If you go to school to learn how to do comic books and you take a class on how to do lettering, you're going to study Tom Orzechowski.
What?
Like, he is a legend.
Bro, you got
he's
some heavy hitters.
He's got a cool bass
Holy.
guitarist.
Yeah. He worked with Stan. He worked with Danny. You know, he is a monster. He's the exclusive. I think
He's
Chris
the
Claremont?
letterer for Spawn for almost 30 years.
Yeah. In fact,
Wow.
you know, surreal moments with me is calling up Tom. In fact, when we get to school, I have to have a call with Tom.
Hey, oh
We
yeah.
have to schedule around Chris Claremont and Todd McFarlane for Starlite issue 4.
You're like, hey, bro, my Kickstarter takes precedence over Scott McFarlane.
Yeah,
Okay.
him
Can you
in
put
the
Scott
background.
on hold for another month?
a very
We love
surreal
McFarlane.
moment.
We love you, Scott. We love Spawn, but give him his just due. Give Starlight
Yeah,
a
man.
chance.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to convince Todd that you love him when you keep calling him Scott.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I keep saying Scott because there you go. You would definitely lose if you called him the wrong name for sure.
Now,
So
Yeah.
he looks. So he's done everything.
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah.
is a monster, and he's a fan. So that makes me feel really good.
That's awesome.
nice.
Lee
nice,
Moyer
nice.
actually introduced us because
Okay.
Lee didn't like our lettering. And we were getting other people kind of like, Brett liked using this very European, always circle kind of bubble look and stuff.
Okay.
And when other Kickstarter people say it to me, I'm like, I'm not going to go to Brett and tell him that some other Kickstarter person said they didn't like his lettering.
No.
But when
Yeah,
Lee
what
Moyer
to do,
came and
yeah.
told me, I was like,
I may listen to this guy.
ultimately, and then he's like, well, I showed Tom your book, and Tom really likes it, and he'd be willing to work on it. So Tom only works now on books he cares about. How
Nice.
big of a freaking compliment is that?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Now, does Dave still like the Trailblazers, or do we need to update? No, I'm just
He's from Portland.
I'm
It's
just-
hard not to.
yeah, that's all they got there in Portland. No, I'm just
Well, David's great. He just got out of college, and he wants to be a comic book editor. He teaches at high school now, I think. And
Okay.
we actually just sent him to take classes from Danny Fingeroff.
I remember you saying that.
all
Yeah.
right.
So he just finished up doing a whole course with Danny Fingeroff, who's a friend as well. And so his editing is really starting to shine in the latest issues.
That's so great. Now, the interesting part about the editors, right, is that you're the creator. So do you feel like that you kind of go, with what, the editor's saying 99%? Like, how do you rationalize some of the choices that are made with the editor? And I think people listening would like to hear this as well.
So here's the thing, man. Once I've written a book, I'm done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. You're not going to
The
say
editor-
anything, huh?
Yeah, the only time I speak up with an editor is if they're missing a point that I did. And if not that I want them to stop or not change it, I want to explain it to them so we can figure out what I did wrong.
Right.
That they're not understanding it. And then if they understand it and they still say, kill the baby, right?
Okay. Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
like, all right, well, kill the baby. Cool.
I guess we're
Yeah.
going
Well,
there,
it's
yeah.
done.
Now, I
Now,
once worked on a 12-issue run, and I went down to LA to meet up, and we were at this huge meeting. And it's like, oh man, we really love these 12 issues, blah blah blah, but we need you to cut it back to 6 issues
you're like,
by Friday.
oh, right on, bro.
And I will tell you exactly what I said. Yep,
No pressure.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no big deal. All right, how are we gonna figure it? And you made it work, right?
Right.
Now-
I just kind of used a technique I don't want to explain. We'll take up the whole episode, but there's a trick to. There's some tricks to being able to reduce things. It's kind of the same trick you use when you try to take a novel.
Well,
and make it
there
into a
is,
movie.
like we talked about, there is things though. We kind of spread things around. So we'll have part of the Titan series. We'll bring Titans on and the guys that have been there, done that, and they'll explain some tips and tricks. We bring in other people from time to time to educate as well, not just to sell, but we sell, talk about the past, educate. We try to kind of bounce the episodes around. So anytime, you're welcome back anytime. And if there's specific points,
these are some fantastic points. You've been in the game a while.
Any kind of those kind of things we could talk about ahead of time. You say, hey, look, I'd really like to bring on this person with me, and we'll talk about these kind of processes. Not that you have to, peel back the veil and unveil anything but just to kind of tips and tricks for people getting in the business and kind of
You've said a bunch
some
tonight.
teaching. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So some stretch goals, man. What we got for
what are we doing here? What do we got here?
Didn't post any stretch goals yet.
So these are all the physical backers. They get copy of number 4, cover A, signed. Awesome.
Brandon, can you blow that up a little bit?
I can, yes.
Yep. Zoom that one in a little bit because that's kind of
there we go. Sorry, I want to make sure I got the other one.
Good,
but there we go. So we got that, and so we got some digital prints, right? And then
people love them digitals.
Oh yeah. Well, they're really good for out of country.
Yeah, unless you like to pay the shipping.
Yeah, I mean, drop a kidney and ship to Australia. I mean,
for $35.
Yes.
Ooh, for what?
For one book.
That's what cost me the last time I shipped to Australia is $35.
Yep.
Oh,
and then not only that, once it gets there, they go digging through your stuff. Okay, so all the packages I've sent down there, the people that they're like, hey, yeah, the customs went through it, and there's a nice little letter from customs.
We
cracked open your thing and looked around. So here's all these nice little, spine ticks because your book got looked through. But anyway,
I am going to point out that one of the things that we do is, and it's because of Brett more than anything, is we don't just run with like Ninja Print or something like that. By the way, Ninja Print is amazing. I'm not talking down when I say that. I absolutely love their work.
That was a good walk back.
I would use them on other projects. But for Starlite, because of what Brett was doing with the coloring, it was really important to him. So we go with a very small independent printer in Portland that Brett knows. Brett that didn't work with David Walker introduced us to them. So these are printed for the Kickstarter run. It's only the Kickstarter run. If we ever go to trades or do a run with another
higher production,
not normal. But for the Kickstarter run, we're using this very premium.
Do you want to say who they are, or keep that as a secret? Because everybody listening, y'all heard that, right? That these are printed in.
Did you go with a cardstock cover or a regular cover?
It is. So, well, you wouldn't want a cardstock cover because that would not be able to open and close correctly. It's 160 pounds.
I'm just asking. I mean, there is people who do it. So, I mean, that
sounds crazy. I run cardstock for Ray Flyers. I would never want to use that as a cover because you couldn't do this.
Ray Flyers would be good. Yeah.
Now, do you do perfect bound or how do you bind yours?
Clean, staple bound.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so this guy, I had my other printer who does my Ray Flyers ask me why I wasn't using him. I was like, well, let me run over one of these issues so you can look at it.
Here's why.
He was just like, oh,
damn.
Man. Wow.
This guy can hang.
You go ahead and keep using him.
Yeah, just stick
there
with
you go. Oh, yeah. No, it's fantastic. So a special printer that will not be named in a secret layer that will not be disclosed, but it's somewhere in Oregon.
No, we're the only comic book he does. So
awesome.
And he's really proud. They take a lot of they're really proud that they get to work on the series. They ended up becoming fans too.
That's really cool. And it's 32 pages.
Yeah, well, it's 24. 24 pages of story, and then you have pages of extras. Brett usually puts art lessons in here.
Oh, he does.
There's also you can buy Brett doing you as a raver. So these are actual pictures of people.
It's like a caricature of you as a raver, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
Those are in there, and then the list of names, things like that.
I like that.
These are all people that bought the hat on the very first Kickstarter.
Okay.
That's fantastic, dude. I'm gonna stop sharing here because well done, man.
Yes.
Travis, this is so great. Everybody listening, you gotta head over there. Kevin, do we have that little scroll thing that goes across the little scroll?
Let me get that going.
Because when my hand does this, somehow it just appears Jedi stuff. It's weird. I don't know how it works.
Get that over there. Da-da-da.
Fantastic job. I mean, is there anything you want? Is there anything you want to allude to or tell the listening audience and the viewing audience as far as about Starlite?
Well, I mean, I'll kind of say this. I'm going to be really careful with the language. So Starlite ended up on Kickstarter. I want to say, first of all, Kickstarter is an amazing platformer if you want to get your comic out.
Yeah.
All the good comics are coming out on Kickstarter. It is the kitchen sink, if you know what that is, of the modern age.
We know. Yeah.
Are the Vertigo of the modern age. Like all the really weird stuff that the big guys can't do yet.
Yeah.
Happening on Kickstarter. And so, like, we ended up on Kickstarter because we turned down 2 publishers because the deals weren't very good. And one of them was like, no, your character can't do ecstasy. She can smoke pot. She can do
she can do anything else, but ecstasy.
But not ecstasy.
Yeah.
We're like,
nope.
no, that doesn't.
You're like, it's kind of important.
Kids,
yeah.
And we wanted her relatable and to feel like a real raver, So one of the things I wanted to point out was people keep asking, well, is there going to be a trade? Is there going to be a trade? That gets asked a lot. Are you going to release these as a normal distribution? We would like to, and one of those publishers is still talking to us for when the series is done, because they kind of went back and said, look, if it does well on Kickstarter, we want the trade. So, if you really want to see the trade come out for real, like a good, solid trade, help with the Kickstarter, and that we can probably come back with that publisher. And if that happens,
I see what you're doing.
Right. Then it'll be more accessible to a much wider audience. You'll be able to pick it up at stores and friends and so forth. And you'll be able to say, look, I have one of these premium printed from a secret printer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's scrolling across the bottom is exactly where you can find this. Brings you right to the Kickstarter. So if you go to www.starlightcomic.com, that brings you right to the Kickstarter. You can go ahead and check out the cool little video again. You can go ahead and grab your tier, and then share out. Grab that, share it to friends, share it to other people, let them know about it, because that is a big thing and a big force in the comic world.
I would totally bumper bomb anybody with your stickers, bro. They're so it'd be so. I would totally do that. I'm not saying that to everybody listening, but I know.
If you get bumper bombed, now you know where to go.
Now you know what happened.
Sticker on your bumper, you know who did it.
Yeah, it was Travis.
Mailboxes and light posts and all kind of stuff. Yeah, he's all over it.
I'm doing what I can, Travis. God.
Hey, spread the word, one bumper at a time. But Starlight Comics, make sure you go to www.starlight comics. You can also go. Let me pull this off. See, the fun thing about live is I get to run the board too. So I'm over here like landing planes and scrolling through all these cool, fun little things on here.
I hope you're not landing.
It's crazy. It's fun though. I enjoy it.
Our air traffic controls now work from home.
It's not. Here in the studio, if you go over to inked.marketing and go over to the gallery, click the Live Now button. That brings you directly to all the Kickstarters that are live and coming soon. So again, inked.marketing, swing over to the gallery. The gallery shows you previous campaigns that were done. If you click the Live Now, that brings you directly into all of the things going on right now. You can click right there. It's an easy thing to remember. Tab that one. And also, too, while you're there, make sure you swing by and ask for a solutions guide if you are a creator out there and want to get your book out there. And we'll go ahead and send you some information and tell you how to get on, like Travis is. So those couple of quick little shameless plugs I will slip in there. But that's how you do it, and that's where to go to find out more about it. So,
Travis,
awesome.
You've got a great project, man.
Yes.
Keep up the good work. This is fantastic.
Guys. I hope it gets through all 7.
For real.
Yes,
no, it will.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's already, You just got to be ready to start making them, right? You're the one packaging them and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Well, this is how that goes, though, because watch what you ask for, because Justin Gray had come on a while back, and we done 3 books for him.
Yeah.
The first book we did for him went over $20,000. We got 900 backers, and he does all this himself. So he physically packed 900 packages and sent them out. So all props go out to him on that one.
He was trying to do the whole "my blood is in the comic" thing.
Yeah, man, literally. It was awesome. It was, he was all about it. So that's
we appreciate all the creators. You guys, there's so much that goes on. So this all shows about you. So we appreciate everything you guys are doing. It's fantastic. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Well, it was awesome being on, guys. I had a really good time.
Well,
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
Well, we'll see you on the flip side, and we'll keep getting the word out there and keep making it happen. So take it easy, man.
Thanks, Travis.
All right, take care.
Take care, guys.
Just a fun, cool
Yeah,
dude, man.
Yeah, man. If everybody listened, he had so many good nuggets. Oh my gosh, Kevin. He was saying some of the cool. I was like, geez, everybody listening needs to be hearing this stuff.
Yeah, you gotta check them out. You gotta, like you said, take those nuggets and go with them, man.
Oh yeah.
Because it's always nice that creators share those things for, you know, the new guys getting into the business.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
they can go back and like you said, glean from that some things. And it's amazing when you see that person spread that to somebody else, right? They learn this from somebody, and they just pay it forward. And
totally. No, that's exactly it. It's exactly it.
That's a good feel good. We're gonna go ahead and run through the previews real quick.
Yeah, I want to see these. So yeah.
When we talked about Justin real quick, I always like to put this in there. This can happen, and I need to go move that from background to foreground. So 1 second. Justin's book in the August issue of previews came out. We did this for him a couple of things ago. Came out in Blue Juice, picked it up, and Blue Juice is going to make that available in comic stores. It should be in comic stores shortly. So if you're in your local comic shop, make sure you swing by and pick up the August issue of previews. And on page 297, Billy the Kid from Justin Gray from DC fame from Jonah
Such
Hex.
a good one.
It's an awesome book, and it is now going to be available in comic book shops. So hats off to Justin for making that happen.
Way to go, bro.
It pays off, man. Packing that stuff up, getting them things out, you know, getting all your Geminis out there, making it happen. So hats off to Justin for doing that. Other couple quick things. We're going to go and, like I said, go into what we call the previews mode. And the previews mode was exactly what I just told you about, going over to Inked, going over to the gallery, clicking the live. You can see all these things that I'm fixing to show you right now. And let's just go ahead and run through them one by one. The first one up is Mara, and Mara is it's a web comic. It releases a page at a time. So as these things come across, you can actually go to Mara, the deal, like I said, on the site, become a patron, get your pages, check things out. It's a really cool, well done book. And for a lot of these, for most of these, I'm fixing to show you, there is videos that will pop up after we show this ad. And you'll be able to see, you know, a little bit more behind the scenes. So here is the Mara trailer. That is a Dylan Goss creation, and he'll be on the show here in November. He's over in Thailand. He was born here and then moved over there. And the next one up is one of the ones that we just, it's actually in, I think it's got a couple weeks left. It's Fox and Willow. It's just about to fund, and it was one of the projects we love, voted by Kickstarter. So we're very excited and very proud about that. And here is the trailer. This trailer is actually used as their intro. So sometimes the creators choose to go ahead and just let the whole thing run out and be their intro as well. So here's the intro for Fox and Willow.
Sometimes a silent song is the most poignant. Continuing their journey to lift Gideon's curse, Willow and her fox companion have been tasked with escorting Princess Nuala to be wed to a prince from another kingdom. But despite Nuala's hopes of making a joyful union, not all is what it seems between the prince and his betrothed. When his mistress, a barefoot woman without a tongue, appears, a bond of friendship grows between the two ladies, even as a storm brews on the horizon. Written by Alison Pang and illustrated by Irma Amo Ahmed, Fox and Willow debuted in April 2012 and has maintained a strong fan base ever since. following the runaway princess Willow and her mischievous fox spirit companion Gideon.
Next up is the big heavy hitter, Spicy Pulp. And Spicy Pulp is on issue 6. Again, that is a Justin Gray book. And Justin's the one that put together his intro, and we absolutely love it. So hats off to Justin for this. And here is more on Spicy Pulp. There's also other books within that. Dude Bro is a comic within that, which is absolutely hilarious. You know, just make Conan even less thought provoking than he already is, and there you go. You have Dude Bro. So next up, again in the mix is with the book we focused on tonight, which is Starlite, which is still in launch week. So you make sure you want to go out there and grab that. And you've already seen the video, but it's so much fun. We're just going to play it again for those of you who might have missed it in the first part of the show.
You remember the Ultra Kids? That high-flying, super-powered jewel of Mighty Boy and the Melter? Remember their kids' superhero adventures?
So just a lot of fun with that one, man. We're pretty psyched about that book. Next up is in the coming soon section is going to be Shadow's Daughter, and here is that book's coming out. Should be tail end of this month, first part of next. We're kind of doing some things, waiting on some printers to take care of some things. So that's where we're at with that. And here, without further ado, is the intro to Shadow's Daughter. That's just one of those head bobbing kind of things, man.
Oh,
the little video that they show the hamsters all kind of just doing the rave thing and head bobbing in the car. That's what that one kind of reminds me of. We had a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
We're still in production right now on the video for Amerikaiju, but this is Amerikaiju 2 basically, which is actually books 3, 4, and 5. The last Kickstarter we did for him was 1, 2, and 3. First time creator out of the gate. He's a toy designer in California. And Ed is just an amazing guy, and you guys got to check out Amerikaiju. It's about a 5-year-old boy that sees kaiju and can fight them and has powers and to the abilities and stuff. So it's a really cool take on the deal, and nice coloring there. And then last but not least, this book is actually probably going to preview before. It's probably going to still stay on the 30th. This is the one I was telling you about that has the QR codes that his ash can actually kicks back to the Kickstarter, which is pretty cool. First time we've done that for somebody, and they're like, "Hey, can this happen? Can you guys do this?" We're like, "Yeah, we can do this." So all his ash cans are built. He's going to go to a big show here shortly and be passing them out. So all those again will key back. And then we just got through sometime last night. I don't know. It's all kind of fuzzy now with the how everything came together with the video. But let's see if I have it. Do I have it loaded on here? Maybe not. I might not have it loaded yet. Let's see.
All right.
No, I don't, but we can grab that. So, as I say, what's that? Talk amongst yourselves. So, let me go grab that real quick, and we'll get that in there. But no, the video, like I said,
PTSD is the name. PTSD is the name of it, huh?
Yeah, and let's see if I've got that in there. Nope, I don't have it. I don't have it pulled down yet. Yeah, we just finished the video last night, but I tell you what, we'll do it a different way. There's another way to do this. Brandon, if you want to pull up real quick, if you go to, can you bring your keyboard back up? Go to, it's actually embedded in, no, it's not. Nope, we're not going to have the video for that one. It's going to be.
We'll show it next time.
We'll show it next time, and it's out there. It's like out there in the world. I mean, we're showing it, but it's just not embedded in the Kickstarter yet. Because the Kickstarter is still being built. So sorry about that, but it is a very interesting book because it is about a veteran that actually relives the traumas of PTSD, but the book is all told in one day. So everything that he's experiencing, all the voices in his head and all the different things that are going on are actually all in one day. So
interesting.
It's I tell you what though, I got it. We're going to do it this way. I got a quick way to do this. There's always a quick way to do this. Take that, show in folder. Oh, hang on. Oh, the fun of live. Let's see, copy. There's a quick.
I thought we were showing it to him next time. We're going to leave a teaser.
I don't want to leave him hanging like that. We're not gonna put him through that. We're gonna give him some. We're gonna give him some stuff here. So
come together. Right
tell me
now.
about what's going on in your neck of the woods, man. While I'm loading this, what's going on in the world of Brandon?
Man, just been really looking at all of these different artists that are in the NFT world and just seeing all the different potentials and ideas that come with it, right? Because it's not just a piece of art that somebody, can own one time type of scenario. You can build contracts into the different, pieces of art to where maybe it opens up at a certain time, or maybe it talks to you, or maybe it, so there's so many different really neat things that are happening in the art world, that I really appreciate. So many of them.
The whole NFT thing is something that we're going to cover on the new show that we're coming together with, which is going to be Voodoo Lounge. So that's something we're really excited about. We're still kind of working some things out and kind of seeing how that's going to go. But yeah, it's going to really, Brandon's been really doing really well with exploring that whole world. He's an IT guy, so he knows the whole blockchain business. So it's
many neat things that are coming together with it. It's really cool.
It's going to be something. It's going to be something wicked fun. So this video is actually going to run. We're going to close the show out with it because it's going to run actually longer than a normal video because we haven't spliced it yet. So this video is actually his whole intro, kind of like the intro was for Fox and Willow. This is going to be the whole intro piece because we took the creator part and edited it in with all the different segments. So he's actually going to explain what the book is about.
So are we saying goodbye to everybody now, and we're shutting off with the video?
No, we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and let this play out, and then just say a quick bye at the end of it, quicker than normal. But here is the video. It's a little bit lengthy, but you guys should enjoy it.
You just need to shut up. And who am I talking to?
It's a Twilight Zone type of story of a veteran who is traumatized one day and is reliving several major moments of his past on one fateful afternoon. really about not putting off responsibilities of today that could possibly come back and haunt you in the future. The name of the book is PTSD, but it's not just about PTSD, it's about mental struggles and mental issues, whether it's depression, whether it's stress, whether it's anxiety. These are battles that you don't have to face alone. Go get help. There's people out there that'll help you. I started thinking about this story whenever the pandemic started. I had lost my job. My oldest son caught COVID, had situations with his lungs. I had another son who ended up having uncontrolled diabetes, which we were taking him to the hospital once, twice, 3 times for week-long trips to the hospital. I also went through a divorce, and my youngest ended up getting diagnosed with autism. And throughout all of it, I wanted to do something to inspire my kids and for them to understand that it's not all bad. For them to have a goal and something to look forward to. The story came about because I was trying to show people that you don't have to always be depressed. Find something that'll help you. Find a distraction. Whether it's writing, singing, music. The point is, you're not alone. And there are ways to help these situations. This is not a battle that you ever have to face by yourself. And the story just kind of gravitated from there.
Well, if that's not enough to pull on your heartstrings, right?
Thanks for ending it with the wow.
I mean, that just when he told me the story of why this book came about, I was just taken back. I was just like, when he told me everything he was going through and the mindset he was in,
I was like, man, is your name Job? Like, man,
man, and
to
people,
have that type of mind frame that's like, hey, even though I'm going through it, there's got to be this, and I want to be. That was wow.
And to spin it back into the positive, you know,
yeah,
and to be like, hey, this
fantastic.
is why I want to make this book. So when we approached us with that and told us the story, we're like, we got to put this in the intro. This has to be
we should
part
do that
of
with every artist. Man, that was fantastic.
So to hear
That's
that,
a great story.
That was
great
it's just
story.
moving. Paul Gomez is the creator of that book, and again, that book's going to launch on the 30th of this month. He's put a lot into it, and
man, so cool.
We're really excited to be able to help him with it. So that's what it's all about. You know, first time creator. So it'll be something to see. So again, everybody, thanks for tuning in the show. We're gonna end this note like we normally do with our outro, and our outro kind of lets you know a little bit more about us. So you guys have fun and take care. Thanks for listening.
Thanks,
For more fun-filled episodes, come visit our website, www.comicrottery.com.